Thank you for joining us as we elevate the Black entrepreneur experience by interviewing CEOs, thought leaders, innovative thinkers, and Black entrepreneurs across the globe. I'm your host, Dr. Frances Richards. Our next guests offer a holistic approach that focuses on mind, body, and spirit health as a master barber. Welcome, Nakeda Lindsey. She is the owner and founder of SevenSpa.
Hi.
I've given our audience such a brief bio. Why don't you fill in the gaps, what you'd want the audience to know about you and your business?
Well, I've been a professional barber for over 10 years and living here in Dayton, Ohio at the current time. Actually born and raised here in Dayton, Ohio. And I have two children, and we just take care of men at this point. Like, I've switched over the salon. I have actually was a stylist for over 15 years. And then in the last 10 years, I switched my business to focus mostly on men when it comes to their health and wellness and grooming services.
And tell me why focusing on men?
So from my experience, and especially from behind the chair, I was noticing that one, I had a lot of men that were what I would call suffering in silence, that they wouldn't communicate some of their um, pains and obstacles and things that they may have been going through. If they've been with me for quite a while, I was learning some things about them that I didn't know what actually was going on. There was some serious conditions, like sometimes health issues or just personal issues that they just really wouldn't talk to anybody else. And I decided that we needed a space, a specific space for men to have an outlet to be able to communicate those issues or problems and things that they may be facing or coming against. And so we've decided to focus mostly on the men.
And how are you received as a woman barber? And I noticed that, or the little bit that I know about the industry, there's a lot of men barbers, and they feel like that's kind of their therapy or being in the chair or all the different nuances that go in. How are you being received in the industry?
That's a good question. So I'm actually revered as a master barber. And so the gentlemen who come to me at this point, they know exactly where they're coming and they kind of prefer a woman. So to me, it's kind of the best of both worlds because you have a barber that you are, that relationship is very much bonded. I always say we have one of the most intimate, relationships with our clients because we're touch service and we're so close to our clients. But the men that I attract and cater to are a lot more mature men, and they prefer to have a woman barber. I guess it's almost a difference between having a man doctor or a woman doctor. You have your preferences. And so the men who do come to our establishment, they specifically kind of want a woman to do these services for them.
Talk about being a master barber. What is a master barber?
So a master barber is a barber who has been in the industry, I would like to say at least over 10 years. And being a master means that you not only know how to cut hair, but you know how to tend to your clients. Um, it's more about the experience in the industry as the amount of time you've been in the industry versus anything else mostly.
You talked about that personal touch and when you though and literally those touch points when you're talking about someone, massaging or being in your hair. And I could be wrong, but I'm sensing since COVID, a lot of people are really missing that physical touch, that human touch, the communication. And I'm going to ask you two questions. First, I want you to answer, thank you, pandemic, because.
Thank you, pandemic, because you kind of shifted the world in a good and bad way. But the good that I've taken out of that is people are missing each other again. I think we were taking advantage of the simple pleasures, like touch and being able to be around other people. I think that caused us to kind of come back in as a community, which is very awesome. And then COVID personally for me actually gave me a chance to slow down for a minute and kind of see what I was moving too fast for. It helped me eliminate a lot of things that I was doing and thinking that was not conducive to where I was in my life at the time. So I take the good and bad with the COVID.
And when we were talking about that personal touch, how did you manage? How did you service your clients? How did you have to pivot?
That's good too. So initially, we were shut down. We had to, shut down and not deal with clients. And so when we came back, we were very much masked up and, gloves and protective gear. We normally always are very protective and very clean in the salon spas anyway. So it wasn't too far fetched of what we normally do as far as our sanitation and cleanliness of our space. But we just mostly just stayed masked up and just made sure we protected one another and, stayed our 6 feet. I have a very, what I would like to say, an intimate space. So we rarely get like big crowds of people in here at one time. It's usually one or two, you're with your therapist, you with your service provider, and then that's it. So it's not like, like the typical maybe barbershop or beauty salon where you have like 10, 12 chairs and everybody's kind of sitting on top of each other. We don't have that type of setup here. We don't have that kind of model. And that was before COVID. We just kind of like to be personal with our clients. When it's your turn, it's your turn. And then the next client comes in and we give that individual sessions with our clients.
How did you raise capital to start your business?
So initially I was located inside of, it's called Grandview Medical Center here in Dayton, Ohio. And it's a hospital. And I was in there for 5 years servicing the clients, the staff, my personal clients, staff, administrative, the doctor, resident doctors. We were just like there for everybody and patients who could come down. So after 5 years of being in there, I saved up some funds and I was ready to come out of that model just because I was starting to feel a little bit restrained inside of the hospital. And so I used those funds that I had gathered over the years of being in the hospital to find me a single destination, suite style destination for my clients.
I want you to have a monologue. I want you to name this person, living or not. They've inspired you so much. Nakeda, who is that person and what are you saying to that person?
My mother. I'm blessed to still have my mother here with me. She is my living angel. And she's been my biggest fan, my biggest supporter over the years, helped me raise my children. I was a young mother, so she helped me raise my children, and she is and will always be my inspiration. So.
You're involved or going through a program, 1 million Black women, Black in business. Tell me about that experience.
It's been an awesome experience. I initially didn't know what to expect. I signed up, it was like, I can't lose anything. It sounds like from the information that I received because it was a new program at the time. And after the first day of the orientation, I knew that it was a good deal and something that I needed because for me, it has refreshed me in business. Some of the things that I was kind of taking for granted because I've just been doing this for so long. And I'm one of those self-taught, self-employed professionals where, my schooling, as soon as I got out of beauty barber college, I just went straight to doing business. And so a lot of the structures I did not have in place. I just kind of kept rolling through. And if it was working, it was working. So with the program so far, it has helped me to kind of come back down and give me a chance to rebrand almost and rebuild the business from like literally the ground up, I feel like, which is much needed.
What is something that you found out about business that you didn't know since going through the program?
What I did not know? Most likely how important is knowing your customer. It's one thing to have a niche or to be in a niche, but to break down your client personas, literally like not just their demographics, but their just their lifestyles. What do they eat and where do they go to get their food and things like that. To break it down like that is a lot easier to communicate when it comes to like social media marketing and things like that, because you know exactly who you're talking to and what they need versus you assuming they, you know what they need. You know, you can cater your services and products to your actual customer. That's helped a lot.
Fill in the blank. Thank you, Goldman Sachs, because.
Thank you, Goldman Sachs, because you have provided such information and an atmosphere that I needed to kind of bring me back to light, to kind of light some fire back in me, because I think I might have been going through, especially after COVID, a little, what they call it, burnout. So thank you, Goldman Sachs, for kind of like livening me back up. Being around all those women from different cities and states was just extremely awesome. We made a lot of friendships. I'm still communicating with some women now, like on the side. I got a couple girlfriends that I met, and it was just very refreshing to have that. To, you know, because I'm kind of in this what I call like a smaller town, and and I'm kind of set off in an island by myself on what I do. And when you're in your business, you just in it. You don't really get to get out and have too many communications with other entrepreneurs or things like that. So it was very awesome to be able to meet these beautiful women, strong women, powerful women, intelligent women, and rub elbows with them.
There are so many brands and businesses, Nakeda, that's dominating. Talk about a brand or a business that is dominating that you admire and why.
For some reason, I'm a huge fan of Chick-fil-A. I love their brand. I love the way their motto, how they take care of their staff, how they keep up with the changes by even keeping things simple, but throwing something just new every so often. I don't see them trying to keep up with the next business. They know who they are and they know who their audience is, and they just stick straight to it. And I really like that model.
What impact are you making daily?
My daily impact is as I would say like an influencer. I'm I send out a lot of positive messages to my following and to my people to keep them motivated and in a good place. So my daily impact would just be being open and kind to people. Even if you don't look like me, I still smile and show you that I see you, because I think some of us get missed a lot too. So I'm really, really big on that.
So drop us a word of encouragement now.
Hmm. Be patient with yourself. Be easy on yourself and breathe.
What is your zone of genius?
Me being an empath, and being intuitive. I think that's my zone of genius. I've learned to manage those skills in a way that it helps me to talk to people and understand people in a way that I think sometimes they don't, maybe misunderstood or yeah, maybe misunderstood, whether it's male or female. Because I think I attract a lot of introverts because I'm sort of introverted. So I'm able to communicate with people and get them to kind of come up out their shell sometimes, which is very awesome for me. I like to see people do that, blossom.
What is the biggest takeaway from this interview? What do you want the audience to leave with?
I would like the audience to leave with one, we're in a different society, we're in a different time right now. And so you asked great questions about a woman being in considered a men's field or a men's industry. Times have changed, so it's not as male dominant as it once was. And clients are open to having other options because they may not think that, like, for instance, some men don't come to a woman barber because they think we can't cut. And so they will go to the barbershop for the cut and then come to us for nails and things like that. So in today's time, I think we should open up our minds a little bit more and just try new experiences.
Tell us your why. What do you do here?
I have a philosophy I used to say especially when I was doing women, that I frame art. So for me to be able to have a person in my chair and I just take what they have and I frame it in a way that makes them look and feel good, especially from the inside out, because we have a lot of great communications here. That's my why.
If you lost everything and you had to rebuild in 30 days, what industry and why and how?
30 days. Ugh. I would be I would do something in marketing. And the only reason why I say that, because in 30 days it has to be something on the internet. I feel like anything else, I would need some extra training or something. I would like to say psychology because that's the major that I missed, but something in marketing at this time, online marketing, coaching. That's exactly what I would be doing.
And coaching who and why?
I would do relationship coaching. And it's because same thing, from behind the chair, doing men and women. I hear a lot of information. I get a lot of information. And I see another huge gap in men and women when it comes to relationships, the thought patterns that some people have. And I think I would be a really good matchmaker, actually. So that answered like 3 times. People want love, people need love. And it's like, I don't understand how I have all these like men who are single and kind of lonely looking for somebody. And I have all these women who are single and lonely and I'm trying to like get them together, but everybody's kind of stuck in their head about stuff. So I'm considering having some events though, so I can start pulling people together and see what comes out of that, out of fun and out of love.
That would be awesome. That'll be
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
So it's like the another thing is the men's spa. I'm focusing on the men just because I want them to have a space that it's like, we kind of call it like a bro spa, right? But the whole intent is for us to help rebuild and reconnect our men so we can have better relationships. And so with me being a woman, it's easier for me and them to talk to me. It's almost like I'm a sister, I'm a niece, I'm a, best friend, homegirl kind of thing. So they do talk to me even a little different than they talk to their barber guys, because I am a woman. So it's a little more nurturing. And so they do also tell me things that they may not share with the other barbers, the typical barbers, because I'm a woman. So with those two, on top of like my women, who, how we do when we get in beauty salons, we kind of spill our teas a little bit. It just kind of put me in this position to be able to be like a middle woman and pull it together. But it's mostly for the women. I do this for the women.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Let's talk about an attitude of gratitude. And I want you to have what I call a thank fest. And I want you to thank people or situations that has really inspired you?
I think I already said my mom. Um, very grateful for my connection with God. Have a relationship with God, and I'm very thankful for that. Goldman Sachs right now. I would also like to thank, I have some people I grew up with that I keep in my pocket. I always say that I owe them some things because they were there for me at the times that, you know, I really needed some support. And yeah, those are probably my main thank yous that I owe out right now that I can think of anyway.
Okay. Let's talk about becoming Nakeda. How did you become?
Hmm. I've always been a very, I would say withdrawn, but observer. So I became at age 16 as a young mother. Um, I learned a lot about life from that time until then. And then, of course, everything afterwards was just tremendous because I realized later that I really get to have my childhood because I chose, you know, to be a mother. And it was the best thing that ever happened in life because before